Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 3 of a brand new gig. I am joined today by none other than Sidelines, Texas A&M. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Of
Big,
course.
big fan of the pod.
Thank you. It means a lot, truly. I am very much looking forward to this, mostly because I still have no clue how this game on Saturday is going to go. I really have no words. I've actually been incredibly nervous all week, and it's only getting worse by the day.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, I walked out of the Utah State game with a lot more questions than answers, I think. But I also have a ton of questions about Notre Dame, and it's going to be one hell of a game for sure, one way or the other.
Notre Dame has not given us much to work with, but neither has A&M, given that we have played two. Not a knock to either team, just not incredible opponents, and Notre Dame has one loss, so they're 0-1, and they had a bye before they played us, so thanks for nothing. So we are just going to jump right into the very first segment, which is us. You know how it goes. We are doing off the ledge, so we're not going to get too much into the concerns because they actually were all the exact same thing over and over. I got a million replies. And as we know, we are not licensed therapists, so we cannot be held liable for anything that we say or any diagnoses that we may give that may be completely wrong. But as you can probably guess, the biggest concern that I saw over and over and over until my eyes were bleeding was our run defense. How is our run defense going to perform? Which obviously we saw against Miami. They didn't use their running backs a whole lot, so we don't have much to work with there, but I foresee that not being the same case to Saturday. So what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, so about 30 minutes ago, I scoured ESPN for their stats. They ran the ball 28 times against Miami for 93 total yards, which was 3.3 yards per carry. And Jeremiah Love was not their leading rusher, which was he only ran the ball 10 times, which for a guy of that caliber was really surprising to me. Just as a college football fan, I really thought we would see a lot more of him.
Well, yeah, that's the name we saw all offseason. So
yeah, and I mean, there's some skepticism that it could be, he's still getting over some injury bugs, but even then, he hurdled a guy 3 times against Miami, so I thought he looked great. I just didn't know why their offensive game plan wasn't more through him instead of CJ Carr, a guy who prior to Miami had not started a game at quarterback.
Yep. Very different issue than, well, actually similar issues, but different circumstances. I feel like in our case, our run game hasn't been as prevalent because we haven't needed it to be.
Mm-hmm.
We know what our running backs are capable of, and you don't need to put a heavy workload on them for Utah State and UTSA. I feel like against Miami, that's their strength, and they didn't use it.
Yeah.
So, big fat question mark. I am going to assume that we are going to see a lot more of them. I don't know what Mike Denbrock is thinking. I don't know what goes through his head. I would love if they didn't use their running backs. That'd be great. I would appreciate that a lot. But that seemingly probably won't be the case. The other issue that people were concerned about is keeping momentum. I think at least the first 2 games of the season, we've been really good at coming out offensively and at least showing flashes of success, and then it kind of just is going back and forth. So what is your game plan? How do we keep foot on their neck type of activity.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it hinges on that first drive, right? In neither of the Utah State or UTSA games did we score on the first possession of the game. And obviously, I think it's going to be a bit of a defensive slugfest. I really like Notre Dame's corners. Their defensive line kind of got pushed around a bit against Miami at times, but
Which is abnormal for them, I feel like.
yeah, I did not think. I think the real crux of that game was they kind of got out physical at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I just you never expect that from Notre Dame.
Right. And I think that's a very similar philosophy to Mike Elko. I think he is not someone who ever wants to be out physical, and I think that's probably his number one priority every time he has his guys line up. So I would be very interested to see how that dynamic works come this Saturday, especially given what we saw last year, because obviously, like, you have the box score, but if you watch the game, it was tied with 3-4 minutes to go. So it's not like we got, I mean, it was rough. It was really rough. But all that to say is, do you see kind of that same storybook being applied this year? Like, is it, you said defensive slugfest, but just the overall Notre Dame running the ball on us, forcing Connor Wegman to throw the ball, all those kind of elements being thrown together.
Yeah, I do see a similar sort of story in that way, but I also think that you can't make us throw the football. You can't just sell out for the run because we have Casey Concepcion, and because we have Mario Craver, because we have Ashton Bethel Roman, Theo Borkircher, Amari Nyblack. I mean, this is the passing threats in this offense are. I mean, you and I had some dialogue on Twitter about this.
Yeah,
We haven't seen
worlds
a
apart.
yeah, we haven't seen something like this since at least since Christian Kirk was in the wide receiver room, maybe since
Yeah.
Mike Evans and your previous guest.
Yeah. Shout out Ryan Swope. But I know that Marcus Freeman said he wanted to make our offense one-dimensional, which obviously would be the goal, I think, at any time that you are playing a team. Obviously, last year that was the case, and it worked very well because our run game was our strength and our vertical passing game was not. It just was never really there with either quarterback. I do agree with what you said. Even if they do make it one-dimensional, which I think they do have a good secondary. Their secondary is a lot younger than they were last year. There are newer pieces there, but I don't know if being one-dimensional on offense is necessarily the recipe for success for their defensive mentality.
Yeah, no, I mean, I took a look at some of the splits that Carson Beck had against their defense trying to throw the ball. He was 13 of 16 against zone coverage and 7 of 14 against man coverage. So, I mean, they've got some dudes who can lock down, be on an island out there against Miami's wide receiver core, which I think is probably comparable, maybe slightly worse than ours. We'll see.
Right, which I do think they tend to lean more man than zone, but I would expect that to shift more too because our wide receivers are a lot more shifty. I think if we had more size, I think we'd see a lot more man, but you can't necessarily out physical a guy who runs a 4.2. So again, there's a lot of question marks because I think the Notre Dame we saw against Miami is going to be very different than the Notre Dame we see on Saturday. In a good way or bad way, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it keeps going back to we haven't seen a lot of this Notre Dame team, and frankly, we haven't seen a lot of this A&M offense. I mean, like you said, we didn't run the ball against UTSA because we wanted to see what Marcel was capable of if he had made those improvements that we thought he did this offseason, and I think that he has. And then we ran the ball a lot more with some more success against Utah State. But even then, the runs weren't very, we didn't see a lot of pin and pull that Colin Klein really is his bread and butter. It was a lot of zone and power and counter, and
I am very interested to see how the playbook expands, which I think that's the case on both sides. I mean, Mike Denbrock, he has a redshirt freshman as quarterback, so I'm sure it's the same situation that we had last year. Marcel comes in the game. You have to adjust your whole offense because it's based around a new guy. And two, how much can you really trust him with the ball in his hands? Which obviously I think he's taken a jump. I don't think there's a sophomore slump, which was being speculated, but I think they have a very similar situation where at least the first game of the year, you just got to give your quarterback confidence and just let him throw a couple short routes to see how much success he can have. And then you can kind of let him off his leash a little, which they seem very excited about him. So I'm sure he will have a lot more leeway this time around. I think we're going to open the playbook just as much as they are.
But I don't know. I mean, it's just like a lot of our defensive game plan is probably going to be force CJ Carr to beat us, and I think he played pretty okay to good against Miami, which
right. I don't think he's the reason they lost.
No,
I'll give him that.
But if we can, like Marcus Freeman said about us, if we can make them one-dimensional, if we can make them have to keep Jeremiah Love limited to catching passes out of the backfield, making tackles in space has not been a friend of ours recently into last season. But if we can, predict what's coming, get them into second and long, third and long, I like how this game should turn out.
I've got a question. Thank you, Trey. What do y'all think about how we looked physicality-wise in the first two games, and how does that play into the game against Notre Dame? Great question.
Yeah. Against UTSA, I thought our pass pro was great. And I thought our pass pro was pretty good against Utah State. But I was a little worried, especially after Zune came out of the game against Utah State, that he'd our running blocking was not as good as I thought it would be against an inferior opponent.
Right.
But I think our defensive line really shored up between games 1 and 2, and a lot of that was like we allowed 203 rushing yards to UTSA, and we allowed 78 yards rushing against Utah State. And a lot of that wasn't that the defensive line wasn't doing well in the first game. It's that the linebackers weren't fitting the right way. And so I'm glad the games happened in the order they did. We got to face a really good running back. I forgot the name of the UTSA running back.
It's like Robert Henry. Maybe?
Yeah. Awesome. He played really well against Texas State too. Ripped off a first play in touchdown in the second half, just like he did against us. So maybe it's tradition now.
It's a pattern.
But yeah, our run fits are improved a ton, and I like how our physicality works. I like how our conditioning looks. Have yet to see how that works against Notre Dame, because
that is the big fat question mark.
They might have gotten out physicaled a little bit by Miami, but that's not going to happen for Notre Dame against a lot of people.
No, that is very much an outlier. And I think both sides of the ball. I think our offensive line is a lot stronger, which typically is not the case for an A&M football team. I feel like we usually rely pretty heavily on our D line, but I trust our offensive line more than I trust our defensive line right now. And again, that's where the big fat question marks are coming from is can our defense stop their run game? Because that's what they're going to lean on, which I mean, I would assume the same for us. I'm glad we have more of a vertical threat than we did last year because we just kept trying to run the ball and we just kept not being able to. And if that happens again, I really think that's what this game comes down to is whose run game is better. So essentially whose O-line matches up better against whose D-line,
Right.
which is a whole influx of things that string together and it's a domino effect if one goes down. And that's
one thing I'll say about the Notre Dame offensive line is their center did not look good in run blocking against Miami. There were some miscommunication and there were some other plays where he just got flat out put on his ass. And so Albert Regis, I think, has the chance to have more than a few TFLs or stops for short gains against some runs, and he's a guy that I'm really keying in on this game as a potential impact player.
Which again, it's not like a attractive thing to talk about, but the O-line is, I think, going to make or break how our offensive looks. Because I think if we come out weak, if we come out and let Notre Dame run up the score on us, I don't think there's a second half adjustment that we can make.
No.
So, again, our O-line, I think, is the heaviest in all of college football. They are
to Texas State, I'm pretty sure.
So sorry, Bobcats. That's on me. But with that being said, they're older, they're experienced. I haven't seen anything majorly concerning from them over the past 2 games. Again, I mean, we can only talk about the past 2 games so much because Notre Dame is just not in the same hemisphere of the past 2 teams that we've played. So, again, those are big question marks. Oh, what do we want to talk about? Marcel Reed having 2 interceptions. No, I need him to throw 2 pass touchdowns because that's actually part of a parlay that I made. So if we could have the opposite, that would be much appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, his first interception is going to come at some point this season.
Allegedly.
You know, all of us, not all of us have the luxury of having a quarterback that hasn't thrown an interception yet this season.
No shade to anyone in particular.
Yeah, no. But no, he's had some misses. There were a couple of balls. I can't think of any in particular that probably could have been turnover-worthy passes between UTSA and Utah State, but he did a pretty good job of keeping the ball out of harm's way. And there were some incompletions where he just mistimed the route, which comes as you're gaining some experience with these new transfer wide receivers. And then he had the missed deep ball against UTSA.
I still think about that, actually, every day.
But, you know, we still scored on that drive.
We did. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I don't know. As of now, it's a bigger concern. His accuracy in terms of open receivers more so than him throwing interceptions. Obviously, the secondary is going to be a lot more physical than we've seen. I'm still not convinced that our receivers don't outweigh their secondary. I'm obviously very high on our receiver room, and I still have question marks about Notre Dame considering how young they are, and they're still trying to mesh. And also the fact that they want to force us to throw the ball, but I think that's a much bigger threat for us this year than it was last year. Last year, that game plan is solid 100%. It works, and it did work.
Yeah.
This year, obviously, KC and Craver are going to be their main targets. But I think, okay, well, let me ask you this. Outside of Casey and Craver, who's either who do you think or who has to make the biggest impact on offense? Because I think those will be their two biggest targets.
I think this is a potential breakout game for Amari Niblack.
I had the same thing written down.
Because he, I mean, you talk about out physicaling people, man versus zone splits. I don't think they have a guy who can consistently man up against Amari Niblack and either force him off his route or win a one-on-one ball with him. I think he's got a really big opportunity this weekend.
And I think tight ends as a whole have not been a part of our offensive scheme since probably Jalen Weidermeyer, Jay Sternberger, maybe. So at least 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
I just think they've not been a part of the equation in our offensive playbook. And I think we have at least 3 different tight ends that we can throw in the mix to make real impact plays.
Mhm.
And I think they're going to have to, because I'm not to say that Casey and Mario aren't going to have a great game. I hope they do. I'm putting that into the world right now. But it's going to have to be very dynamic on offense because they know exactly who we want to throw to.
Yeah.
But what else is there going into Notre Dame? I think there's a lot of non-measurables that are surrounding this game. On their side, they're coming off a bye. They're very successful coming off of bye games. They're 0-1. I personally think if they go 0-2, they can't make the playoffs. So that's a target on their back. And then us, I'm not even going to mention our record on the road and the last time we've won on the road. Everyone's seen it. It's been everywhere. You can't avoid it. So there's obviously a lot of pressure on both sides. How much do you actually think that affects a football game?
Well, I think that the fact that previous teams have been unsuccessful on the road against ranked opponents doesn't mean anything, frankly. The football teams of years past that under Jimbo and even in someone a little bit, he had a lot more success on the road than Jimbo did, but I think that Elko, along with X's and O's, has brought a sort of blue collar mentality to this football team, where it's like, yeah, we love playing in front of 100,000 of our own, but we can't just win at home to get to where we want to go.
Yes, I do agree. I am very confident that all white uniforms are going to be what is going to propel this team to victory.
Absolutely. I saw that uniform reveal and A&M money line now.
I've seen a lot of interesting reactions to the all white uniforms. You know who you are. This is giving me flashbacks to last year, because last year I got really excited that Power was coming back in a home game and blah, 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 and then we lost. And so now I'm getting really excited about all white uniforms and fun. Yay, a script on the helmet.
I should remind you that the first time we busted out the all whites last year was also for a road game, also in a tough environment. And it was also Marcel Reed's first ever start as an Aggie. And we beat the crap out of the Gators.
And then the last time we wore script, the Tigers. So if you combine the two, certainly there is no way in which we lose. That seems like simple math.
Foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see any other way in which that could turn out. 1 + 1 = 2 and such. I'm wondering, okay, because last year, obviously, our offense was, as a whole, lackluster. would be the word I would give it.
Mhm.
In terms of explosive plays, at least, I think we are not even in the top 50, which is boring and sad.
Mhm.
This year, at least at this point, we are ranked, I think, number 5 last time I
Yeah.
saw. Again, we're going to say inferior opponents, whatever. I don't really care. Not my problem. We played who we played and we did what we did. What has made you excited from what you've seen? And then what do you want to see on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, what I have thoroughly enjoyed seeing is a lot of our explosive plays in the air aren't necessarily on passes deep down the field. Like Mario Craver's first touchdown reception was a wide receiver screen that he, busted for 30 yards. But on the flip side of that, I do want us to hit some, some go balls. Maybe take like 5 or 6 shots down the field and connect on 1 or 2 of them. I really want to see Marcel get that opportunity that he missed against UTSA back and connect this time.
Which I think we saw a lot more of. Well, I say we saw a lot more of. It's been 2 games. But to be 2nd and 1 and not take the easy yardage and go throw a deep ball, I think is a big shift from our offensive mentality last year, is to let him loose and see what you can do, because we know our running backs can get the yardage. That's not, I don't think, ever going to be a question mark. But our question mark obviously is brand new guys coming into the receiver room, and Marcel Reed having his first start as our QB1 for the year. So I like that a lot. I hope we don't get conservative this weekend. I feel like for us to go back into our shell would be going against everything we've shifted from last year. See, now I'm really convincing myself that we're going to win, and that's not good.
We talked about this right before the pod. Earlier in the week, you had to convince me there was a way for us to win, and now you've got to convince me the other way. Which is weird. I shouldn't have this feeling.
No, it's a recipe for disaster. I can't get my hopes up. No. I can think I can't even. I don't know. I don't even know. No. No, actually, if I had to put money on it, I would put money on us. I would.
Yeah. No, I what we've seen, albeit limited, I think we look a lot more cohesive as an offense, and I think our problems on defense got shored up quite a bit this weekend. And I'm team bye weeks can often do more harm than good, which is not a very popular opinion.
Cough, cough, South Carolina.
Yeah, I mean it's a great example, which also makes me worried about the Auburn game in 2.5 weeks. But we don't have to.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, but
okay, really insightful take. Let's see what we're working with. Yes, that's beautiful. We can work off of that.
Yeah.
Notre Dame suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no. I don't say yes because no, don't clip that. That's what the streets are saying. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
They're a respectable football
team.
team.
Nobody affiliated with Sidelines, Texas A&M, or at
anything else. A&M.
Yeah.
No, we don't say that. We don't endorse that.
No, of course not.
But it does raise the question: is what is their biggest weakness / what do we need to target to win this football game?
You have to win the line of scrimmage, and I think we can on both sides of the ball. But particularly, like I said earlier, make CJ Carr beat you. I think he's a good quarterback, has a potential to be a great quarterback, but he's young. He's inexperienced. And as vanilla as I think we were on offense, I think we were just as, if not more, vanilla defensively.
Yeah.
We didn't show a lot of weird blitzes.
No, I was
where
yeah.
you have the nickel coming on the blind side or anything like that. We didn't show. I didn't see any stunts either.
No.
So I mean, we have
I'm
not put
hoping
a
to
lot
see
of
a lot
stuff
more
on film.
blitz from Elko / Bateman / whoever is doing that. I don't know.
The man behind the curtain.
Whoever it may be,
Yeah.
I am hoping to see a lot more pressure on CJ Carr
Mhm.
because Notre Dame didn't put that much pressure on Carson Beck, and we saw how that went. And Carson Beck is an experienced quarterback. CJ
Mhm.
Carr is not. Unfortunately, you can only gain experience by playing football games, and that he's going to do for the second time. And as questionable as our defensive line has looked, you also saw 3 sacks in a row from Cassius Howell, and you see Scooby Williams and Marcus Ratcliffe and whatever other name you want to throw off. So there's obviously a very high ceiling that hasn't been reached yet.
Yes.
Obviously, that is the story of our lives, our ceilings that we never reach. I mean, last year, Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, and Nick Scorton. I think that was potential untapped,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
last game, Cassius Howell had as many sacks in a series as Shamar Stewart had in 2 years.
Which I don't know if that's more sad or more
Well,
hopeful.
I mean, we can get into the nitty-gritty of it, but a lot of what Shamar Stewart didn't show up in the stat sheet.
No, and thank you for your service, both Shamars.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Despite
penalties.
Yeah, he played great against the Browns last week.
There we go. We root for them no matter what happens because that is who these are. We care so deeply about our players, both current and former.
Right.
But I am very interested to see Marcel in this environment because I think a lot of the situations where he found success last year was because teams weren't able to prepare for him / just they just didn't know what to do with him. I feel like that is not going to be the case this weekend, but I also feel like he has improved. So I'm wondering what level of performance, because I think if Marcel Reed plays bad, we lose the game. I don't think there's a way for us to overcome bad quarterback play, but to what level does that need to be?
Yeah, I definitely think he needs to step up from his performances these past 2 games. He missed some open receivers. His timing was off a little bit on some passes. And if you get a wide open receiver 50 yards down the field, you have to hit him in this game because 1 or 2 explosive plays could determine the outcome of this game. But at the same time, I don't think he needs to do too much. At least that's my hope. Because if we can rely on Le'Veon Moss and Amari Daniels and Reuben Owens and E.J. Smith, I think we can make the load a lot lighter for him. And I mean, you saw the effects of what Le'Veon Moss going down last year did to the offense.
Yeah, quite detrimental.
Yeah, because the game plan last season was Marcel doesn't really know the offense like we would like him to, so we're going to try to make this game easier on him, give him some easy completions, allow him to lean on the running game heavily. And when that went away, he performed worse.
Yes, unfortunately.
But he has a full off season of preparation. He has those experiences of struggling against quality competition when he was the guy that needed to make the play.
Yes.
And I think we've seen in the past couple of games that I think he's made great strides as as a passer,
which he is not apparently.
he's not a passer.
No.
But and obviously his legs are also a weapon. I just
Yes.
pray to sweet little baby Jesus that he slides a little more.
Please,
But
please.
I can't take another quarterback injury, man. I don't know what I would
I
do.
really did see flashbacks last week. It was going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world, I think for a lot of teams, their ideal offense is two-dimensional run game, pass
Mhm.
game. I think with Marcel, with his upside, you create a three-dimensional offense
Mhm.
because Marcus Freeman knows how dangerous Marcel Reed is with the ball in his hands, both in the pocket and running the ball. I think he's gotten a lot better at knowing when to go and
Absolutely.
trusting in himself to make that decision, which it does also help to have receivers that you can trust and not feel like you need to scramble all the time. Oh my God, there's a fly in my room. But three-dimensional offense is obviously the end goal. I don't foresee us having a problem with a one-dimensional offense like we did last year because I don't think Connor Wegman had the legs to take us where we needed to go. I think Riley Leonard had the legs. I think he was able to get them out of a lot of sticky situations because, I mean, as I wouldn't even say their run game was up to par when they played against us either.
Mm-mm.
I know, was it Love that had the touchdown or was it Price?
Against us last year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that was Love.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, game was tied with like 3 minutes to go. So it's not like they were just overpowering us. I mean, I think we just kind of fell apart at the end and they kind of ran the ball at will, not necessarily explosively, but it was just running the clock and just killing us in the trenches. I haven't seen enough from Notre Dame to make me believe we don't have at least two of the three of the elements on our offense be successful on Saturday.
Yeah.
You can choose which two those may be. I don't know which two they're going to be. I'm not going to say. That's just how I'm feeling because I think they've let Marcel off of his leash and they fully trust him, and that gives him a lot more leeway to control the ball, which we didn't really have much of ever.
Yeah, no, for sure. And kind of backtracking to your Riley Leonard point, a lot of the things I saw in the Miami game, I saw them trying to run CJ Carr a lot like he was Riley Leonard. And if they keep trying to do that, A, he's going to get hurt. And B, it's not going to be very successful even if he doesn't get hurt.
Right.
They were running QB power at a 5.
Yeah, they had a lot of design quarterback runs, which I was also surprised at because I feel like I heard a lot of people talk about how different CJ Carr was from Riley Leonard and how Riley Leonard was able to get them a lot of yardage, short yardage, and I don't think that's what CJ Carr's strength is. I mean, we don't really know what it is. We've seen him play one game ever,
Mm-hmm.
but based
Yeah,
on what we
I
know,
definitely think he's more of a pro style quarterback,
right?
which is something that Mike Denbrock hasn't really. We haven't really seen a whole lot of him with a pro style quarterback. Like he had Jaden Daniels at LSU, and then he had Riley Leonard last year, who was almost like a Haynes King. I feel like same way, a similar way that Georgia Tech uses him.
Yes,
Better passer than Haynes King, in my opinion, but
and less injured than Haynes King.
yes, yeah.
Poor guy.
I mean, yeah, but I obviously I'm interested to see how we open up the playbook on both sides of the ball, but I'm also interested to see if Notre Dame was just using their game plan from last year and copying and pasting it, or if that was just a one-time thing, and they're going to try to keep CJ Carr in the pocket a little more.
I would suspect yes. That's what I suspected against Miami. But again, everything they did against Miami was everything I expected them not to do. So I think college football fans and Notre Dame fans alike were very confused on the game plan against Miami. So I'm very hesitant to use that game at all as any indication of how Saturday is going to look, which is not helpful because that's literally the only game that we have.
Yeah.
But I do, as a whole, do you think the game will be defined by offense or defense?
Well, a lot of, obviously, I think, to borrow a term from Josh Pate, I think if someone wins the turnover battle, they're probably going to win the game, but that's like a duh, But I do think it will be based on the defense and at a very, very, like a lot more important than is in most games. I think the special teams will be a very crucial factor in determining the outcome of this game.
Marcus Freeman talked about the punt battle. He was
He
very
did.
adamant about that.
And I mean, we've already seen KC house one. We've seen Terry Bussey be explosive in the punt and kick return game. If we can get some short fields, be it turnovers, punt returns, and we don't give up short fields with good coverages,
You think this is a game where maybe in the red zone you have to go for 7 or you take 3?
I think you got to take the points. I think if it's fourth and 3 at the 17-yard line, I think you got to take the points because I think they're going to come at a premium. And
so you think this will be low scoring?
Yes.
Okay. Noted.
But to go back to last season, we had the best red zone percentage in the SEC at turning red zone attempts into touchdowns, if I recall correctly. If not, we were.
Doesn't sound right if you casually watched our games, but I do think you're actually right. I do think that's right.
I mean, and it's because Marcel Reed is so versatile because we ran the inverted veer at the goal line against Arkansas last year, and he pulled it late, which made for a really nice highlight. And just walked into the end zone. And then you saw our 4th and 1 play against, was that this week or last week? It was the ball to Theo. I think that
was 2 weeks ago.
I think that was UTSA, yeah. Where it was just a bootleg, and
that one was really pretty.
And Theo just leaked to the goal line and walked in. So I mean, I think for all the people that knock Colin Klein as a play caller and a play designer, I think he gets very, very creative in that last 20 yards of the field.
Yes, which I think that was very notable when he came from Kansas State, and that's why people were so shocked last year. But again, I think that's mostly, I think Notre Dame is facing a similar situation where you had a young quarterback, you don't know what he can do. You're not just going to throw everything you've got in your playbook at him and hope for the best. There's a lot of stuff I know he has that he hasn't used still, which I'm sure, similar to our run game, is being saved for opponents like these, because what is the point of wasting all of it and showing your cards against, I'm not going to say nobody. They're not a nobody. I
All
respect
due
the
respect
Aggies
to
and
the
the
Aggies.
Roadrunners. Yes. But I am very excited about Colin Klein's future and what he's going to do on Saturday. Oh. There you go. Address these allegations.
That's not how you spell scoring. But, well, unfortunately, Scruff just doesn't know ball. That's my retort to that.
Okay, end of sentence. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes that's all you need to say.
Yep.
And we had it. Let me see.
I think I know what comment you're about to highlight. Okay.
I'm really excited about this one.
Yes. Okay. So I don't know how many of you guys played Madden like 10. It was the one with Larry Fitzgerald and Ben Roethlisberger, or not Ben Roethlisberger, but on the cover. But anyway, this borrows heavily from that. Let me.
No, yeah, please give us the best angle possible.
Okay. Dang it. Here we go. All right.
I hope someone's recording this. Well, this is recorded.
Casey Concepcion, one-handed grab in the end zone, right? He goes to spike the football, but it's just not come loose, so you just boom, done.
That was incredible. I'm really hoping that one of them is watching and will be using that this weekend.
KC, I will buy a jersey of KC, Mario, Amari, ABR. If one of you does that celebration, I'm buying your jersey.
We'll be spreading that film, and we'll be making sure one of them sees it. Because I think that was really innovative and exciting and should be on a highlight tape somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the people love it.
Yeah, I was told by some people to try to learn the Juby slide, but I couldn't get that done in time.
You still have time. You can post it anytime you want. You have free will. Just learn it. Put it out there. But that one's not even trending anymore. There's a new one now. That one's a lot easier to learn.
Yeah, but I'm Unk and behind the times, so.
See, I've had the same allegations, so you just gotta roll with the punches. There's really not much to it.
Oh, yeah.
But on that note, because that was such an incredible thing to witness, we also need to talk about our shining star of the week. I bet you can guess who it is. Cassius Howell. We know him. We love him.
Oh.
Josh Pate knows him. Josh Pate loves him. His immaculate drive was beautiful. And then Myles Garrett happened to do almost the exact same thing.
Almost the exact same thing.
So it seems to be a trend. Some may say tradition. But he is our shining star of the week, and I hope he continues to shine. Because if he does, we will win this football game. Oh, okay. A close second.
He's up to like 32 yards receiving this year.
That is almost halfway to 100.
Almost. For that, it's a little over halfway to 100.
Yes. And as we know, we are so supportive of all of our former and current players.
Yeah, so, if you ain't in my jersey.
Anyway. You can finish the rest, you guys. I feel like you can put it together. Noah Thomas, I have nothing to say about you.
Love and respect. If he stays here, we might not get one of Mario Craver or Casey Concepcion.
Everything happens for a reason. We love cliches. I am very excited about this receiver room. And I'm very excited that they actually have performed above, I would say above, what we all expected. Because it seems to be the trend that we talk about things we're excited about, and then they give us nothing to be excited about. That's not the case.
So we should be excited about nothing, and then we'll be excited about it.
Yes, be excited about nothing. Because then you will be
pleasantly
Impressed by
surprised.
everything.
Yeah.
That's the saying that I definitely just made up.
Yep.
But all that to say, is there anything else that we missed? I feel like you've got something in your back pocket.
I think that this will be the best secondary we will face all season. What say
Okay.
you?
Okay. That could be considered a hot take by some.
There is the other competitor is our friends about 100 miles to the west. But we'll see if they can guard somebody without holding them.
That's the true challenge. Still untested.
But I mean,
That
we're
is
in
a
the
long ways
SEC. Nobody
away.
calls holding anyway.
I didn't say it.
Whatever.
LSU. I'm still not convinced about LSU, actually.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I'm listening.
They were awesome against Clemson, who immediately then laid an egg against Troy.
Yes.
Now that could just be that the state of Louisiana has a hex on Clemson, but I don't know. I haven't seen enough out of LSU's secondary. I do think they are vastly improved from last year, but I got to see more. Got to see more tape.
See, I don't know about this one either.
I think they cover.
You think?
I do. Those Gators are not very well coached, but they play hard for Napier.
Yes.
They love that guy.
And he's got a job to keep.
Mm-hmm.
I do like DJ Lagway a lot. I honestly like DJ Lagway more than Garrett Nussmeier. But DJ Lagway has not shown that he's capable of winning them a football game at his own accord. Maybe he will prove it this weekend. Who's to say? I would love an upset there because I hate LSU.
I would not bet on an upset outright.
I
I'm
wouldn't
pretty
either.
sure LSU is going to win that game, but I do think it'll be closer than a lot of people expect. It's a rivalry game.
Is it a night game?
Probably. It's in Baton Rouge, and those corn dogs can't stand to be in the heat longer than an hour and a half.
Not sober, anyway. Oh, yeah, please do tell Nuss that. I would love for him to hear from me. Actually, brings us to, I'm going to skip the hot take related to we've given a few hot takes related to college football as a whole.
Mhm.
I also think, what did I say? I think Georgia Tech will beat Clemson. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think they're only favored by 4.
I think Vanderbilt beats South Carolina this week.
That I would love.
Listen, they have a common opponent
Virginia
in
Tech.
Tech, and
It
that
took special
offensive
teams.
line of South Carolina looks bad, and they also did not play well against SC State last week.
They also haven't shown that they really have any receivers. I feel like that was people were talking they have a better receiver room. I don't think South Carolina has shown that they have a better receiver room.
I mean, they have a dude. Name slips my mind, but
is it Nick Harbor?
Yeah, Nick Harbor. He's a dog. I would love him to be on my football team, but outside of him, they haven't really shown that there's a guy they can go to with consistency.
No, and they also lost Roman Sanders, who was unfortunately a big thing last year. I don't know who he played against, totally not us, but they've got a lot of pieces that they're missing. And I don't know, I think Vandy can do it.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I love Sellers. I think he's an awesome dude.
Oh
Very,
yeah, he's great.
very, very talented. But I didn't see the slipperiness
Mm,
that I unfortunately saw for about 60 minutes last year.
give or take.
Um, but against Virginia Tech, he got bottled up a lot more. He didn't escape the pocket as much, and you know,
Both sides of the ball for them, I think,
yeah,
were not great. I mean, it took special teams. It really did. I was sparsely watching from a bathroom in Cancun, so I can't say that I would make a great analyst, but I like Vandy. And who else did I say? There's one more. Oh, I think Arkansas will beat Ole Miss as well.
Ooh, I am not so confident in that, mainly because um, I'm always willing to write off Ole Miss struggling against Kentucky as just Kentucky is the game they struggle against. Um, but I would not really hate to see it a ton.
No, and I hate to say it, but I like Arkansas's quarterback situation a lot.
Yeah.
I was not high on Taylor Green to start the year, and I think he's looked very impressive. Which I think there are a lot of SEC quarterbacks that I was not high on that have proven otherwise. Missouri's got a guy over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That Kansas game, of course, at halftime when I got back from the Utah State game and I turned that one on, they were up 21-6 on Mizzou, and
Oh yeah.
I had to run my mouth, and then Mizzou, but yeah, he was like 30 of 36 or something in
Some
that
crazy
game.
number. Yeah, so he's a sleeper. You've got John Mateer at Oklahoma, who I admittedly, I think the first episode I said I was not sold on John Mateer. I think I am. I think I am. I don't know.
I am not yet.
Michigan is not the selling point.
Well, I think Michigan has like a top 5 defense in the Big Ten, but
They've
I
got no offense.
also don't think that we've seen enough out of Mateer.
No, and I mean that's gonna be. I don't think you can get an accurate read on anyone until probably week 5, because everyone's got at least one conference game under their belt and probably one big non-conference game. I really no. I'm going to refrain from talking about Arch Manning. Actually, I'm gonna let him just be a kid and
Yeah, that poor third year quarterback.
that poor little third-year quarterback who's so young, so inexperienced. What can you do but
My
feel
heart
for
goes out
him?
to him, man.
No, he's really got it rough. So I will give him some. I won't give him any more flack than I gave him week 1. I think I went a little overboard, but it was fun. Everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
So
You were definitely not the loudest Arch hater last week.
no, I was mediocre. It's if your friends jump off a bridge, would you too? Yeah, I would.
Absolutely.
And I did. I jumped off the bridge, and I had a great time doing it. And I don't think it's gonna bite me in the butt either. You know what? There are way worse things I could have said.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let him do his thing because he's so little and so young. So
And he's, defecating every time he throws the football, apparently.
yeah, apparently. So don't ask him what he does in the bathroom.
I can't imagine. Listen. It's high time that Texas has has alternate uniforms, mainly so that they don't see poop stains in the back of Arch Manning.
So the white pants aren't going to cut it for much longer.
No.
Given what we've seen. But we covered like everything that's happening in the SEC, I think. Unintentionally. I can't think of. No, we kind of did it.
I would like to reiterate a point that I made earlier this
Please, you
season.
have the floor.
Jackson Arnold, I think, is going to be more successful than John Mateer is this year.
Interesting.
Nothing I have seen has made me stray from that opinion.
Okay. And we play Jackson Arnold. We don't play John Mateer.
Nope.
So for our sake, I hope
he's gonna look like
wrong.
He's gonna look like a world beater in 11 out of 12 games.
It's gonna be the Peyton Thorne effect.
Well, I remember when Bo Nix came to Kyle Field.
Oh, what a time. Bo Nix.
And Michael Clemens had him running scared.
I love that spring road. I should make that my header, honestly. It's one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Oh yeah. Which one? The nut grab or the okay, yeah. I like the other one from that game where he's scrambling out of the pocket and he's got like a
the face.
Yeah, he's got the face on him.
We can use those interchangeably, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I will be interested. Jackson Arnold's got a ton of receivers around him, so if he plays even B- quarterback play, they will be wildly successful.
Cam Coleman down there somewhere.
Somewhere. That he is. Just one of our many misses. Ryan Williams, though.
Prayers up for him. He's not dead. He's just in Auburn, Alabama.
Poor guy. We can only pray. But he's doing better than Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams has been paid $1.8 million for one catch. I don't know what his stats are. I actually just made that up.
He's 18 years old now. He's lost all of his juju.
What can you do? He's washed. Maybe he's Unk.
I mean, he's old enough to sneak into the now defunct Shiner Park.
R.I.P.
And now all of a sudden he sucks.
Alabama's that's a case study in itself. And I'm thankful to not be actually no.
They're still Bama though, because they beat UL Monroe 72-0 per their football admin.
3.
Yeah. Forgive me.
Pivotal 1 point that you're forgetting there.
Yeah.
I can't feel bad for them. You have multiple championships over the past decade.
You still have a top 5 roster in college football per just about every metric.
Some of us aren't so lucky. So some of you guys need to sit and count your blessings and reflect. That's all I have to say. Just be thankful for what you have. Yep. And don't be so greedy. I think that's my take on Alabama. Who's to say? Maybe they go 11-1. I don't know. Maybe they go 7-5.
I do think Florida State's a lot better than people were giving them credit for coming into the season. Addition by subtraction with DJ Uyunglele.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to not be biased. Well, I wouldn't call it bias. I guess just not be blinded by a team that went, what? They go 2-10?
2-10.
Yeah, so it's very hard to see past that, which is understandable. But I do like Tommy Castellanos a lot. Maybe because he posted and used Johnny Manziel as his caption. Maybe that's the only reason.
He was talking some mess before that game too, and he backed it up.
If you can do that, I'll have all the respect in the world for you.
Yeah.
If you can't back it up, keep your mouth shut. But I'll let him talk until he is proven otherwise.
Yeah.
He's having a lot of fun down there. But I don't think I have any hot takes related to A&M for this weekend.
No, I'm still in sort of wait and see mode as far as we're concerned. I do like a lot of what I've seen. I'm just not ready to come off the
jump the gun.
9-3, 8-4 thing. But like that like I predicted us going 9-3 going into the season, sort of in a vacuum, right? Just
Mhm.
what can Texas A&M do, and what can Texas A&M not do? But
Yes.
you watch these games across the SEC, and other teams have weaknesses too.
That
It's
they do.
it's more than just the players on the roster, though that
Right.
does play a significant factor. I mean, we saw Notre Dame struggle. We've seen LSU, their offense did not look that great against Louisiana Tech. Um, little T dot little U. I
Good
think
fall name.
I think Arch will improve over the season, and I think they have a top 5 defense in all of college football. And
That I can agree with.
I don't think either of those are particularly hot takes, but they have some question marks. They have particularly at the quarterback position, and some and Sark's play calling genius has not looked the part.
No,
It did not look that way against Ohio State, at least.
no. And as we know, he's an incredible quarterback developer, and that hasn't panned out either.
Yeah.
So, note my sarcasm. But 9-3 is a good spot, and I think that's still where I have us. And I don't think that losing this game is as impactful for our season as it would be for Notre Dame, which
Yes.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I mean, I think we're facing a wounded animal, and those kinds of games are always extremely dangerous, especially on the road, especially against a team who's can pretty much empty their playbook because the only team worth a crap that they play after us is USC.
Yeah,
Um, let me
probably.
pull up their schedule.
My gut is
Um,
telling me yes.
yeah, they play USC. Um, yeah, after us, it's Purdue, Arkansas, Boise, NC State, USC, Boston College, Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, Stanford.
Gauntlet of a schedule they've got over there.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, to your point, like we have to see how the season shakes out, but 10-2 might not do it for them with that schedule.
no. And I hope we can make it. That is my prayer that I've been praying every night.
Hmm?
I feel better about it this year than I did last year. Not that that means anything at all.
Right.
After the all white uniforms, I feel even better. But
Look good,
again,
feel good, play good.
that is the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, all that to say, I'm just going to toss a coin on Saturday, and wherever it lands, actually, heads or tails, I'll pick A&M. Never mind. Screw it.
Heads we win, tails you lose.
Exactly. That is how I'm going to look at it, and I am not going to try to convince myself otherwise, because even if I predict us to lose and we lose, I'm still going to be disappointed. It's not
Yeah.
going to change anything. So I might as well just drink the Kool-Aid and dive head first.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're in year 2 of the Elko era. These games like this are the kinds that can just jumpstart a program. And if he wants to take us where he wants to take us, he's got to win some marquee games against tough competition on the road. And it's not an indictment on him if that doesn't come Saturday, but
Right.
we're getting
There
in
will be a lot of demons exercised if it does.
right. But we're getting into where it's like, all right, you've got these big time transfers. You've got you decided to keep Bateman, which was I wasn't really that upset about that.
No, I wouldn't expect anyone to be fired after.
But you've got your guys at coordinators. I think we have a very good offensive coordinator. I think we have a defensive coordinator.
Correct.
Who
Yep.
Can
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. But like you said that you were going to be way more involved in the defensive game plan. I don't think he's called plays in either of the first two games, and I don't think that will change against Notre Dame. But these are the games we brought you here to win.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if that starts today or Saturday. But
yes, because right now the standard for our program is that we lose those games.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone who watches college football writes that off as a loss, which surprisingly I've seen a lot of people struggle to pick this game. Given our history, I would think it would lean a lot more towards Notre Dame, but I feel like I've seen a little bit of optimism, which I don't know if I love yet. Still undecided. But again, that's also part of the standard is when you, because we love the don't rank us movement, whatever you want to call it, but the standard needs to be you should be able to perform with pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And we've never been able to do that. Not never, but
haven't been able to do it for a long time.
No.
And when the don't rank us movement in, what was it, 24 basketball,
yeah.
That was an awesome time. It was really fun. That should not be the standard. It shouldn't be we're always the underdog. Texas A&M football should be,
you storm the field because you beat us type of team.
Yes.
Not a team that storms the field.
Yes. We can be with all of the resources, with all of the fan support.
We have some dollars.
Recruiting hotbed, the NIL, all that. There's no excuses to not win here.
No.
So
and NIL, honorable mention to Marcel Reed for his commercial. Shout out Marcel. You're doing great things for our program.
Sonic commercials have been nothing short of incredible.
No.
I want to do nothing. I want to eat nowhere besides Sonic because I've seen Marcel Reed.
I actually got Sonic today because I saw that commercial.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, Marcel. I hope you buy yourself something nice with the $5 that I gave to Sonic. But I didn't even plan on covering the SEC, and we did that. So great job, us.
Oh, yeah.
We have exceeded everyone's expectations, which were obviously very high.
Absolutely.
Clearly. But no, obviously no one knows who you are, so tell the people who you are and tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm Wyatt. I'm a student at Texas A&M. I run this tiny little account called Sidelines Texas A&M. You can find my @ right here.
Very humble.
I would love for you to drop me a follow for game tweets, dumb insults to our opponents who have fewer Catholics on campus than Texas A&M does. So, if the Pope were to have a say, would he pick Notre Dame to win this game?
That could be up for debate.
Dumb stuff like that. I like to think of myself as a funny guy who also dabbles a little bit in sports.
And I think that you should get a follow for that. But I think a lot of these people are already following you. If not, give them a follow. And also, while we're clout chasing, also subscribe and like this video.
Absolutely.
Because that would mean a lot to me. That would keep a roof over my head and food on my plate, even though this doesn't make me any money. But please do that for me and for us and for everyone, for this community, for the world. But with that being said, that's all I've got. That being over an hour. But
yeah,
thank you for joining me. I had a blast. I hope you had a blast. I hope you all got to see his touchdown dance. If not, I'll clip it and share it.
Thanks for having me, Avery. Gig 'em.